Welcome back. Today's adventure, I am on the Wild Ammonoosuc River in New Hampshire. This is probably our most famous river for having gold. The only reason I'm naming it is because 90% of it is posted, and the other 10% you have to get a dredge permit or a permit to use certain sections of it, which I do have. So it's not a river you can just freely go to, but it is known for having some of the biggest gold in New Hampshire, at least from what I've seen. So that's the mission today, is to try to find some bigger gold. You can see this gets pretty wild during the flood season. We get a little split channel going on here. So I'm thinking this is going to create a low pressure zone around this area, so I'll be checking that out. I always love trying out new things. I picked up this shovel. I'm hoping this will help move some rocks, and it'll still be good enough to scoop up material. So we'll have to see how that works. It's definitely rugged as hell. And I also, for the hell of it, brought my the Mine Lab Equinox 900. This actually has a gold mode on it. It's very unlikely that any big enough piece of gold is going to be on the surface of the river, but I've actually found that it does pick up where the hot rocks are, pieces of steel that are floating down, so it shows where the heavies are settling. But I'm also hoping, because this area gets hit so hard with dredges and just a lot of people, they leave holes that they didn't fill in. The gold's deep, so if I can find some of these holes and skim around with the detector, I might get lucky. It's a wild shot, but I just wanted to try something different. I'm up here, I might as well take full advantage of all the tools I got. Freaking beautiful day, and I'm the only one in the area right now. It's a Friday, so most people are working. We'll get a nice long straightaway, and I said come down here, and it V's out to two channels. It splits, which is going to create a low pressure zone, and we got some big rocks there too. So I'm going to analyze the area and try to find the best spot to dig. I might actually do the detecting first, and that might give me an indication of where I want to dig. But let's get to it. I'm excited. Looks like the detector was actually a good idea. I'm literally 10 feet from the truck, and I was starting to get a signal. I think it was a hot rock or a piece of lead or something that was triggering it, just right on the surface. But I threw it in the pan to see anyways, and there you go. First piece of gold. 2 minutes from being here. So even though the detector can't detect something that small, it can detect the heavies around it. So it actually is working out pretty good. I didn't think the gold was going to be up that high. I actually might do another few pans here because I was getting another hit just underneath this rock. So, I mean, literally a few feet from the truck. Pretty cool. Looks like it's going to be a good day. Starting out decent already. I definitely got to check these dredge holes. There's a few around here. All right, I'm getting back to it. I'll show you the results in a few minutes. Wow, is it hot out here. It's probably almost 90 degrees and humid. It's almost like a haze. Oh, and I had to pick dead center in the river right in the sunlight, but you can see where I am. I figured there's a rock there. Somebody dredged the hell out of that area, so I figured right here I'd start digging down. Just ran 2 buckets. Pretty much right here. That shovel is actually working pretty decent. I wish the handle was longer, but that's nice. It gets in between the rocks, and it works as a great pry bar. But like I said, I just ran 2 buckets, and I'm about to pull the tray out and do a reveal. So I figured I'd bring you along. I'm not seeing anything in here, which I figured I would, because usually the gold's a little bigger around this area. So if this is just fine gold, I think I'll try another spot, because that was hard digging. You can definitely tell when someone hasn't dug in a spot. It took me a half hour just to get those 2 buckets. That was tough. Yeah, take a little look. Could be underneath the garnet. I'm just not seeing anything. Maybe, I don't know. Let's get the tray out. Try to do this one-handed as always, which isn't the easiest thing. Just get a little of the excess out. And this material seems a little light. I figured right in the center it'd be all heavies. And I'm seeing a few specks. Yeah, there's a few pieces in there. Let me, they're small though. Give me a second. Let me get a better, let me clean this out a little better. And there's the pieces. There's actually a few small ones in between those two other small ones. So that's definitely not worth it. We can do better than that. I was actually getting better over there. I noticed too when I'm out here, see how along this bank you just don't really see a lot of rocks, and then all of a sudden right there just a big pile, and that's where I was finding that decent piece. It must have created so much back pressure, all the rocks were dropping out there. So I think at least for the next 2-3 hours to get me out of the sun, I'm gonna get off the bank over there and just do some buckets in there. I think it'll be better. I thought the gold would be out in the center, which it still may be, but I might have to go down really deep. But it's just too hot. I got to give it another 2-3 hours before I can come back out in the center. This is just brutal. Nice view though, nice day. Even though it's hot, I'll take it. But yeah, let me bring all the stuff over in that shade. I'm going to take a little lunch, and then I'll dig up a couple more buckets and hopefully find something a little better than what I just showed you. This area is definitely a little more mucky, which is always a good thing. A little more clay going on in here. I'm actually in between two dredge holes. For whatever reason, they didn't do this area, and it's pretty packed and full of clay, so that's actually a good thing. So as I dig material, I'll fill in the two dredge holes, so I'll win and winning. So let's start digging. And that'll do it. Pretty brutal getting down through there, but at least it's in the shade, a little cooler. Let's start running it. Should be in view now. Let's see. Oh, I see a piece right there. A couple pieces. Oh, can't see. Sorry about that. There we go. Move you down. Now we're talking. Definitely gold in here, but I'm not really seeing any big pieces. Ooh, there's a good piece. Now we're talking. See that? So the gold is hugging the inside corner, right along the bank. All right, give me a second. Let me. That's really cool. It's a nice piece. Zoom right in on that for a second. Where's my finger? That's a good piece. Was able to get another 2 buckets out of here. It looks pretty much like the same amounts. Not as big as piece as last time, but still gold. So do I keep digging here for the smaller pieces, or do I try going a little further up to see if there's any bigger stuff there? That's the $1 million question. I think I'll do one more bucket here to finish it off, and then I'll do one up there and then see which one's the better one. But still on the gold. That's all that matters. What a long day. I've been here all day. It was great. A little warm for my taste, but at least I found some gold to make it worth it. I ended up going down toward the end here for the last 2 buckets of the day, and I'm just about to do a clean out, so I figured I'd bring you along. I don't know if there's anything in there, but I'll do a grand total once I see what's in here. So don't see anything jumping out at me. There's got to be some gold in there. Yeah. You see it? It's not too bad. So if I can do this. So there's the last 2 buckets. Piece right there, and looks like a bunch around there. So let me grab the snuffer bottle. So I can get a grand total. Alright, let's get that over there. As always, kind of hard to do this one-handed. Alright, here's the grand total. See if we can get that panned right. Yeah, that's a big piece. And there we go. There's a nice piece of the day, almost a picker. Not as much as I would like. It took me a little while to get the gold, but still not too bad. This definitely made up for it. That was the money spot, I guess. But that's gonna conclude for today. I'm exhausted. at least I found the gold, so next time I'm here I know exactly where to go and continue on. But as I always say, get out on the river. I'm tired as hell, but this was so much fun, and I get to do it again tomorrow. Just another look around. There's been a few prospectors here and there. Got a couple down there. There you go. Till next time, get out there and have fun.